Howdy, friend. Sam Houston here, hoping you're living in high cotton. And if you're lucky enough to be in Texas, I know you're most of the way there. Now enjoy your daily dose of Texas history and Texas pride.
Howdy, friend. Welcome back to the Feed Bandit podcast and your Texas History Roundup for February 22nd. In 1819, the Adams-Onis Treaty between Spain and the United States was signed. It renounced any claim to Texas by the United States through the Louisiana Purchase, and Spain relinquished all claims to the Oregon Territory. It fixed the western boundary of the Louisiana Purchase as beginning at the mouth of the Sabine River and running along its west bank to the 32nd parallel, and then due north to the Rio Roxo, or the Red River. Then following the south bank of the Red River westward to 100-degree longitude, then due north to the Arkansas River. Then following the south bank of the Arkansas to its source, and on due west to the South Sea, or the Pacific. This is somewhat ambiguous border definition resulted in several interpretations over the next century and raised a question as to which branch of the Sabine constituted the boundary. In 1836, here we go. On this Tuesday, Colonel William B. Travis was told that Mexican cavalry had been spotted 5 miles from Bexar, San Antonio. About 2 p.m., a spotter on the San Fernando Church belfry rang a bell to announce the sighting of Mexican troops. After gathering food and weapons, the defenders rushed to the Alamo, prompting a Tejano woman to remark, "Poor fellows, they will all be killed." At 3 p.m., Mexican cavalry entered the military plaza and unfurled a blood-red flag, indicating they would take no prisoners. The Texians responded with a single cannon shot, and the Mexicans with 4. That night, it was obvious that Colonel James Bowie was very ill, likely with typhoid. And so begins the Siege of the Alamo. In 1847, on this and the day following, Major General Zachary Taylor's 4,600-man army narrowly defeated a 15,000-man Mexican army at Buena Vista. The astute reconnaissance work of Benjamin McCulloch's spy company was significant in the victory. In 1877, Black Horse and his warriors, who had left the Fort Sill Reservation in December, attacked several buffalo hunting groups near present-day Lubbock, killing 1 hunter, destroying hides, and stealing horses. His party would be caught and defeated in March, but Black Horse escaped to the reservation and lived for more than 20 years. In 1935, the Connolly Hot Oil Act, sponsored by Senator Tom Connolly, was passed by Congress. The purpose of the legislation was to support oil prices, which had fallen largely due to the East Texas oil boom. This legislation prohibited hot oil, which was oil obtained in violation of state and federal regulations, from being produced and sold. The act was to expire in June of 1937, but it became a permanent law. That's an interesting law. So here's an example of government coming in and screwing up an industry. So because they found a ton of oil in East Texas, obviously the price dropped. Well, you don't need government subsidies to subsidize that industry. What'll happen is the lower margin producers will go out of business, supply will shrink, prices will rise, and the market eventually will find some sort of equilibrium. But of course, if government comes in and starts prohibiting things and just making a muck of everything, making things illegal because this prohibited hot oil, if the market price is low enough, then that stuff won't be produced anyway. All they're doing is creating more criminals where probably none needed to exist in the first place. So, just an example of government screwing things up. Anyway, that, my friend, was your Texas History Roundup for February 22nd. All right. Thanks so much for listening. Catch you back here tomorrow on the next one. You take care.
Well, there you have it. If you like our podcast, check us out at feedbandit.com. There you'll find awesome Texas First outdoors gear and apparel. Your purchase helps support the Bandits and keeps this podcast on the air. fighting for you and for Texas. Remember, preserve the tradition, protect the legacy. Until next time.